glad to be back home and hopefully in a little better weather conditions than last week, but excited that we finished the game off the way we did and we're 2-0. So got a lot of areas to improve in, a lot of ways to get better, and looking forward to getting to practice today and starting to work on that. This is a game against Georgia Southern that, as I've said before, I think they've wanted for a long time, and it's finally on the schedule, so they're going to get their opportunity, and we need to be ready to play a good game because they got a good football team. They got a lot of good athletes, some good team speed, and I'm sure they're going to come in here and play very hard.
Coach, you talk about the leadership and the big play capability that Quayshawn showed from the linebacker.
Well, I think Quayshawn was disappointed in his performance in the first game, and he had a good week of practice, and he came back and played much better against Tulane. And he's got good football awareness. I think he has a good idea of what's going on around him, and he's got ability. So when you put those two together, you have a chance to make plays. And he certainly finds himself in the right spot a lot of times, and I think you got to credit him for that. I mean, I think that's just intuition and kind of having a feel for the game.
After the Wofford game, you talked about how they were a team that was tough to to beat because they hold the ball for so long. You look at the NC State game that Georgia Southern played. This is really kind of a mirror image of what you saw with Wofford, isn't it?
A little bit, but if you look at the NC State game, Georgia Southern hit big plays on them. It wasn't like a lot of time consuming. I think that I can't remember exactly, but I think NC State probably made them punt 4 or 5 times. They had a turnover. There was more possessions in that game than there was in our Wofford game. I think in our Wofford game what happened is there was a lot of 4 and 5 and 6 minute drives on both sides of the ball that really just kind of ate the clock up. So when you play a team like that, you need to be able to get them off the field, and you're the guy turning the clock and keeping it away from them. But the game could end up with that many possessions. We'll just see. I'd be surprised.
You kind of mentioned, but like how for them to nearly beat NC State up in Raleigh is impressive. Like they really should have won, and then to put up the score they did against Venice State. I'm just curious, kind of how good do you think this team is they are playing?
Well, they're playing well. We'll find out on Saturday. I don't put a whole lot of stock into, like I said, us, them, anybody the first couple of games. I think you got to let the thing play out and see how it goes. Clearly they've got some athletes. They've always had good athletes, and they play hard. So, we've got to match that. You can go a step further. The game before the NC State game was with Florida. They beat them. So, in their last 3 games, they've played pretty good.
Coach, how do you like the way your team, and in particular your defense, is playing in the second half of the games?
Well, I think we played better in the second half. I think we found a way to get them off the field. Sometimes the best way to stop them is if you don't give up the big plays, they'll stop themselves with a turnover or penalties or some of that. You'd like to be a little more aggressive or to create some stuff, but it's hard to beat shutting people out in the second half. If you don't let them score, you're probably not going to lose, especially if you're ahead at halftime.
How much has a healthy Sean Green meant to the defensive line thus far?
I think Sean's played well. I mean, he's a consistent guy. He's not going to be flashy. He's just not. I mean, he's not that kind of player, but he's consistent. You can count on him to kind of hold his gap. He's hard to cut off. He can do things in there that the normal people don't see, and he makes some plays. He's not going to be a guy that's a flashy pass rusher or a guy coming off the edge, but he's a good, solid player inside.
You had a lot of success at Georgia Southern. Do you look back at that? Well, I mean, you did, and you wouldn't have gone to Navy if you didn't. Do you look back on that as a good time in your life?
I had a great time. I was there 4 years as an assistant coach, and we won 2 national championships. I was the offensive coordinator in '85, '86. We went 26-4 those 2 years. And then as a head coach, I was 62-10. And we won 2 more national championships, like it was 8 years later, I guess, or 9, 10 years later. But yeah, I mean, I got some great friends there. It was a great time. I've enjoyed, wherever I've coached. I had a good time at Navy. We had pretty good success there too. So it was we've kind of enjoyed everywhere we've been. But it was a fun time. They get it. They care about football. I mean, they want to be good. They do what it takes to be good.
It seems like this offense has opportunity to be one of the better ones in terms of potential on paper that you've had maybe since 2009 here.
Potential is a big word, but I think that the potential is there if we get better and play better, that we can be good on offense. I agree with you. I think that the potential is there, but we've got to play better. And you can't turn the ball over. You know, you can't do those kind of things, especially with a young defense. You can't do that to them. And you think about it, and offensively, you got some young guys playing there too. I mean, you know, we played half the game with a freshman center at Tulane. The other guy who's playing center might as well be a redshirt freshman. Chris Griffin, the starting tackle, is a redshirt freshman. So it's not like those guys have played a ton of plays. You know, they're getting into it too. The quarterback hadn't played 200 snaps, you know, in live. He's going to get better, you hope, as he goes along. So that's what you're hoping, is that you'll build gradually and get better and correct all the little things that you can do. You know, I'd be far more concerned when you look on the tape, if they're getting run over and just physically mismatched and that kind of thing, because that you can't fix. I mean, that's hard to fix. You know, wrong steps, bad angles, you can fix all that stuff.